Welcome to Strictly Business, which is sponsored by the Bellingham Business Association, the BBA, and is a nonprofit organization that supports local business and gives back to the community. My name is Marjorie Turner-Hollman. I'm your host for today. I'm a longtime Bellingham resident, personal historian, freelance writer, and a member of the BBA. As a personal historian, I help you turn your family stories that you tell around your kitchen table into written stories in book form that you're proud to share with your family and friends. I start that process as a personal historian by listening to stories, and we have some good stories to hear today. And I want to thank all the businesses and individuals who supported the BBA benefit golf tournament held at the New England Country Club in September. Proceeds from that tournament will go to 2 scholarships that the BBA awards annually to graduating high school seniors who live in Bellingham and are pursuing a degree in business or a community service-related field. Information about scholarship requirements is on the BBA website, bellinghambusinessassociation.com. Today's guests are Leo Fantini, Massachusetts Real Estate Group, and Steve Saraceno, Publicity Director of ABMI TV. Welcome, Leo and Steve. Thank you very much for being on this segment of Strictly Business. Why don't we start by telling us about your background, how you got into your business, and what you love about it. Leo, would you like to start first?
That's fine, Marjorie. Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure being here. Prior to getting into the real estate career, real estate business, I was in education for 37 years, and my wife, Joan, is the principal broker-owner of the Massachusetts Real Estate Group. And she had a plan all along that both of us would be in the business. We got our licenses together. I got my broker's license. And here we are. And she also would always think toward the future, me being in education, she being in real estate. We also have a real estate school, Advanced Real Estate Academy, that teaches the course for people to take the test for their real estate salesperson's license.
So she was already doing this while you were still in education?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So she really was thinking ahead.
She always does. She's a great planner.
And what do you love about what you do?
Just the involvement with people. Always certainly enjoy working with people. When Joan and I teach the course, she always asks the students, you know, why do you want to get into real estate?
Good question.
And basically they answer,
now.
exactly. Basically they answer, you know, well, because we like houses. That's great. However, you really like to have, like people. You have to like people.
Yeah.
And you know, it's assisting people with selling their property so they can move on to another, you know, aspect in their life. Helping people to search for and purchase a property, rental property, relocation. You know, you name it. It's just there's always something different.
You don't have to get along with the house. You got to get along with the people.
You have to get along with the people, and you help people to prepare their home for selling, and also buyers. You know, what you want to focus on what they want, and you have to listen very, very carefully. Yeah.
Right, Steve. How did you get into the position you're in? And what do you love about this job?
Boy, yeah, that's a good question. How did I get in this position here? Well, I originally come from a journalism background. I studied journalism at University of Massachusetts, and also communications, which was my major. And after graduation, I worked as a sports writer for newspapers out in Western Mass. And also here, did some freelance work for the it was called the Middlesex News. What's it called now? Metro West Daily News.
Metro West, yes. Yes.
Actually, it was called, it goes so far back, it was called the Framingham News back then. Then the Middlesex, and then Metro West, which is what it is today. During that time, I also did work for cable access stations.
Just as a volunteer?
Yes, as a volunteer and as a freelancer also. I have always worked with film since I was in college. I have a background in Super 8 film. in college.
Oh, okay.
And you know, I would make my little films, and then when video came along, wow, that was a big. That was a lot of progress from Super 8 because you could have sound and synchronization, things like that. So I got more and more into working in video. And then in 1995 or so, I started doing stuff for Ashland Cable, Ashland, Massachusetts.
Right.
And from there, I got a part-time job here at Bellingham, and that quickly turned into a full-time position.
Yeah.
And so I've been here the last 12 years or so. And so I love it because you do something different. You can do something different every day in the world of cable access, unlike working in more corporate positions such as at Channel 4 or for CBS or something like that, where you're specializing
because
doing
it's
one
smaller,
thing.
you've got lots of hats to put on.
You've got to wear lots of hats, yeah. So I'll do some production here, I'll do publicity, I'll do working on the scholarship program, working on the newsletter.
You'll have to tell me
like
about
that.
the scholarship program. Hold that.
Yes, I'd be glad to talk about that later on.
Yeah. So what kind of training, let's see, what kind of services do you provide, and what sort of training did you have to do to do your job?
As far as the real estate business is concerned, you have to take a course. And prior to last June, the number of hours for the course was 24. Now it's 40.
Oh, wow.
So you have to take a 40-hour course, which allows you to take the exam.
This is a state exam?
Yes. Well, there's two parts to it. There's a general part, and there's a Massachusetts portion. And you have to pass each section. You have to get at least a 70.
Okay.
And if you pass both, you're all set. You get your license right then and there. If you pass one and fail the other, all you need to do is take the one that you did not pass. And obviously, if you don't pass both, you have to take both again. That allows you then to work for a real estate office, because in order to assist people in real estate to buy, sell, rent, etc., you have to have a license, and you have to work under the auspices of a principal broker. You cannot work on your own.
So you have to have like a mentor or somebody that's training you along. You can't just put your shingle out and say, I'm a real estate broker once you get your license.
No, you cannot. And you bring up a good point, Marjorie, in that to be an agent who really is knowledgeable, efficient, and can assist people, you need proper training. Because there are many things that you need to know in terms of what to do. Many legal forms that you're involved with.
I was going to say, there's a lot of laws that I don't even know all they are. That you have to make sure and follow. Disclosures
that you have to make when you work with people. One disclosure is you need to let people know how you work. For example, if you work as a seller representative, there is a disclosure that you have to provide to the buyer, for example.
Right.
And vice versa. If you work for buyers, you need to disclose, this is who I work for.
Whose interests are you looking out for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is very involved, very complicated. And as I mentioned, you have to have your license and you have to work for a broker. You cannot go out on your own. Now, can people sell properties on their own? Yes, they can, for sale by owners.
Sure.
However, quite honestly, in this day and age, with the kinds of things that can happen if you decide to do it on your own, you're really taking a risk. For example, people can knock on your door any time of the day or night if they see a sign out in front of your house, call you any time of the day and night. And very serious things can occur because you don't know who's coming into your house.
Right.
There's no filter, if you will. So they could be coming in just to look around. And one thing that we find in today's world, unfortunately, is people are looking for technology, computers, that sort of thing, and also medication.
That they're scoping out your house for robberies.
Exactly. Working with someone who's trained in the business, You know, you know who's going to be looking at the house. You know that, for example, they're pre-approved, so they can afford your property. And you're working with another skilled agent who's representing the buyer, let's say, if you represent the seller. So there's a lot that you really need to know to minimize, you know, any problems that would come up and actually, you know, eliminate them.
Wow. I feel like you might have kind of explained a little bit of what training you had, but just tell us a little more of to do the job that you do. What sort of training?
Well,
or is there ongoing
most
training?
people in public access have to have some kind of technical capability as far as production goes. So you have to have some kind of intuition that you can use when you're doing a shoot or doing editing.
Intuition for where's the best shot?
Yeah, similar to what a
up.
photographer has. What's a good shot here? What will work? What won't work? It's a little bit different from photography in that, in the sense that it's a continuous time. So, is this? Am I going to be able to get a segment that's long enough or short enough here? Is the sound good? Is the lighting good? How does this fit in with the overall story of what I'm going to produce? Things like that most people do a little bit with their home movies, with their video cameras, shooting their kids with their cameras. But this is a little bit more involved, and it has to be presented to the public afterwards, as opposed to just your family or something like that. So that's the basic thing that you need to be in public access. There's also the communication side that involves the newsletter and publicity. I will, for instance, I organize the summer concert series.
Oh, right.
And so I'll be going after sponsorships all winter long, calling banks, calling local businesses, sending out letters, talking to people that that come in here as to whether they might want to sponsor a concert. And
which provides a business with publicity because their name keeps getting repeated every time you send out the event.
Right, yes, there's lots of ways that people can be publicized. To make my pitch right now for sponsorships.
Sure.
They get publicity through the bulletin board, through the newsletter, through the banner they display at the concert, through our announcements, through the replays of the concerts over the winter, things like that. So
yeah, these are that's I was asking about services, and, and helping businesses publicize is a service.
Right. Yes, so, and
even as we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and our basic service is that we're here for people who want to come in, such as the BBA, and talk about their businesses, talk about their lives. So the whole momentum behind public access is this serving the community. We're here for the public.
Right. So there's no charge for any of these services for creating content. There's charges for sponsorship.
Right. For sponsorship, if you're promoting your business per se, you have to pay for that. That's something that we do on a very limited basis. But if you come in here and for instance, the BBA, it's a general thing to give general information about the businesses in Bellingham, then that's what we're here for.
Great, great. So maybe that sort of answers what kind of people and businesses do you serve? Do you want to just continue with that, and then we can talk about the kind of people that that come to you? What sort of people and services and businesses? You can talk about the volunteer training and just tell us a little bit more about what services the cable station offers.
Just to make it quick, to focus on one thing, which is what we're always kind of pushing, is that we provide volunteer training. Right. We want volunteers to come to the station and whoever has an interest in video or a passing interest in entertainment or something like that.
Goodness.
To come down to the studio and take a look at what we do.
If you were interested in a field in communications and you wanted to get something on your resume, would that be a,
exactly.
That be a place to come?
Exactly. That's experience you could put on your resume right away. Even as a high school kid, we've had people younger than that. We've had 8, 9, 10-year-olds come in here and do shows. One of our success stories is Nick Russell from Bellingham. Nick is now running a software company called Lightway. It provides web services. We use it for our streaming on the website.
Really?
And he started here when he was about 9 or 10. We've got proof in the hallway. There's a picture of Nick.
Oh, that's so funny.
He took to it, and we gave him training. And he's still in college right now, but he has his own business.
Wow.
Stuff like that
so this
we
is
provide.
Mentoring and professional experience that you're offering for free to come down and say, we'll train you.
Yes, not just mentoring, but the actual equipment that people can work and train on.
Because
and
you've
cameras.
got pretty up-to-date, you've got real up-to-date equipment from what it looks like.
Yes, we do. Yes, we upgraded our studio 2 years ago.
That's remarkable.
And so everything now is high def and state of the art.
Yeah, wow. And what about you, Leo, with the people in service, the businesses that you serve?
Well, as far as, assisting people with purchasing a home or selling their home, there's a lot that goes into it. Just by way of example,
do you just do residential, or do you do any business?
We do residential, we do commercial,
you do.
We do rental, we do relocation. We do an array of things for people. But for example, with a seller, let's say a seller is interested in selling their home, we visit the home. We provide them with a market analysis, which will give them a market value for their home. We take them through the whole process. We assist them when an offer comes in of negotiating that offer. And it's working with other people too, other segments of business. For example, home inspectors, attorneys, lenders. You're working with other agents.
So you have a whole network of people that you know are dependable and will show up.
Exactly, exactly. And if someone says, we really want to keep our landscaping up, can you recommend a landscaper to us? Can you recommend a home inspector? And in today's age, there's radon. There's a radon test, and if the test comes in above the accepted level, do you know of a company that can put a mitigation system in? So there's a lot out there that you really have to know and do.
Leo, I want to continue with you. You've been involved. We wanted to make sure and talk about the pumpkin stroll on this show. Would you tell us about your experience? The pumpkin stroll is coming up this month of October, and so would you tell us about your experience and a little bit of the details of the event?
It's a wonderful activity. And it really was started by Ann Odabashian and Brian from Brian's Country Greenery. Brian Perico from Brian's Country Greenery. Two wonderful, wonderful people. And my wife and I in our office got involved about 3 years ago. And it's held on the Common here in Bellingham.
Bellingham Town Common.
Bellingham Town Common. This year it's on Saturday, October 27th. And it runs from 6 to 8 p.m. And there is a rain date just in case. Last year we had a snow date because we had that snowstorm. And luckily we had that snow date. We have the youngsters. What's fun about it is children come in their costumes and businesses can participate. It's become bigger and bigger every year. And the more businesses that are involved, the better it is. And if a business is interested, what they can do is either call myself at our office or Tina Haynes, one of our agents, in the number 508-966-2424. And if we're not available, just leave a message and we'll get back to them. And it's very, very simple to do. All a business needs to do is bring a table, set things up, and the children go around trick-or-treat. They love it. And some businesses have little games that the children can participate in.
Little tchotchkes to hand out with their business name on it, or other toys or other things.
And things like a ring toss game or a beanbag toss, which is fun for the children. And as I said, the more people that are involved, the better. The other thing is a pumpkin carving contest.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, not a contest. We're not having a contest. I want to take that back. I don't
Okay.
want to lead people down the wrong path here. Carving pumpkins. And what's fun about it is having the children do it. And pumpkins can be dropped off at the Common between 12 and 2.
Of
And
that same day?
Of that same day. They're all set up. And we ask no candles, just the tea lights, the little battery
the little
operated
round,
lights.
flat, okay.
Exactly, that they would put inside the candle, inside the pumpkin, excuse me. Because candles, we've done that in the past, and they
So this is
blow
the
out.
battery ones?
The
That
battery
oh,
ones,
okay, got it.
exactly, exactly. And then what we ask, once the pumpkin stroll is completed at the end of the evening, 8 o'clock, anybody that's brought a pumpkin, we ask them to please take it with them because someone from the town has to come by the next day. And usually it's Dennis Frayne, the town administrator, with some
He gets to end
assistants.
up picking
Dennis
up, oh, God
picks them
bless
up
him.
and has to dispose of them in some way, shape, or form. So we ask that, if anybody brought a pumpkin, they take it with them. The other thing I don't want to forget,
Sure.
Steve and the cable station are absolutely great in terms of advertising, because anytime we ask them to advertise any activity that we have on the cable station, it's done. So really appreciate that, Steve. It's terrific.
I thank you for that. But I also have to point out here that our bulletin board at this time is a little, for anybody out there watching when the bulletin board comes on, we're not able to update it. We've got a glitch.
But how,
And,
you'll get that fixed soon,
We will
right?
get it fixed, we
Yeah,
promise.
by the time
But-
this gets on the air,
but
we're
I-
sure that
I couldn't take that compliment without coming, full disclosure here.
But that's an opportunity for anybody. Who do you put up announcements for?
This is a good thing to cover. We have a bulletin board that plays whenever programming is not playing on our station. And the bulletin board has local notices for upcoming events. And anybody can advertise. It's free of charge.
Businesses?
We don't call it advertising. We call it publicizing.
So it's certain events that are happening. It isn't
Right.
just stick your name up, here I am, flash my name. It's something is happening, that
Yes.
you're sponsoring, that something, you're doing a special event at your business, you're doing a special event at the school, any of those things. So those are options for the PTA, for our PTO, for any of the school events. All of those things are all options for any organization or business in town and in Mendon as well.
Right, and all you have to do is call our station at 508-966-3234, or email us, which is what most people do. Email us at abmi8, the number 8, at comcast.net.
Think hard, think fast.
And
Yes.
excuse me, if I
Sure,
might, Marjorie, just to
sure.
get back for a second to
Yeah.
the pumpkin stroll.
Yes.
It's well publicized too in the sense that Tina Haynes, she goes to the elementary schools and passes out the flyer for the children to bring home. And Ann goes to many of the businesses in town with flyers so that they put them on their counters, and people that come in can take them as well. So, it's well publicized, and we just want to get more businesses involved.
And all that a business needs to do is, do they have to bring their own table?
Yes.
They have to bring in their
Yes.
own table, they have to bring their own toys, and then stay there to hand them out.
Correct.
Things, whatever they're handing out, and be friendly.
Right.
We
And it's
hope.
very simple. There's no fee involved.
No
it's
fee.
all free.
All right. Okay.
I have a question, Leo. Can you bring a white pumpkin and carve that? Does that count as a regular pumpkin? They have white pumpkins now. Have you seen
I
those?
didn't know that, but certainly, why not?
Are those from your
Absolutely.
garden?
No, I've seen them the last few years at the pumpkin places. You have your
my
yellow
goodness.
pumpkins. They have the white pumpkins now, which are white, and they look like pumpkins, but they're white. They're like albino pumpkins.
Oh, goodness.
And then they also have a strain now that I've seen, Cinderella pumpkins, which are multicolored.
Oh, God.
I
So-
haven't seen those.
How
We'll have to look
fun.
Yeah.
for them.
All right.
But those are those
Great. Any pumpkin
All
is
okay
fine.
too.
I would like to have you all tell me something about your business that our viewers might not be aware of. Did I?
Well, one thing they might not be aware
surprising.
of. We like to involve ourselves in the community as a business. We feel that that's very, very important. A couple of examples that we do. There is an annual home run derby that is sponsored by the Bellingham Baseball League. Peter Murphy is the one who coordinates it, and we help to sponsor that. During the holiday season, we also have Pictures with Santa, which is free. People can bring their children, and they can sit down with Santa and tell Santa what they like for Christmas, and they get a picture, and it's all part of our again involvement in the community. Just to show that we care and we really appreciate what people do for us. So we like to give back.
One surprising thing about the cable station, Steve.
One surprising thing about the cable station. Our director today, Eric Fisher, he just got back from Europe. So
you all don't just sit in this station?
Oh, no. He took his camera to Europe and covered an event. No, actually, he was just on vacation, and he had a good time. But the one thing that this is a different thing, but people may not know it, but we've got 2 shows that have viewership in the millions. One of our shows is called 30 Odd Minutes, which is a paranormal show hosted by Jeff Belanger. And he's on the pegmedia.org server. And cable stations from all over the country actually download his show and play it for their viewers. And he sat down at one point and tallied the amount of potential viewers he has for any one show. And it's in the millions. And also he has a show the same show is on commercial cable in England now, in Great Britain.
Wow.
It's on, I forget the network, I think it's called the Sommerfeld Network. That's probably wrong, but it's a network.
Okay. I'm going to have to stop right here and just say that with the time remaining, because I only have a very couple minutes, with the time remaining, I want to remind our viewers about the upcoming meeting of the BBA that's Wednesday, October 17th at 6 p.m. at Lowell's Restaurant on Route 140 in Mendon. This month's meeting will focus on our local nonprofit groups, and we will at least hear from one group that I know of, that's the Franklin Bellingham Rail Trail Organization, and we're going to have several more groups that will be making presentations at this meeting, how they implement their mission and how the business community can help facilitate their mission. And in keeping with the nonprofit theme, we're asking attendees to bring a non-perishable item to the meeting to be donated to the Loaves and Fishes food pantry run by St. Blaise Parish. And I'm also going to remind viewers that Pumpkin Stroll will be held on the Town Common Saturday, October 27th, rain date October 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. For more information about the upcoming meetings, other events, and the BBA, we encourage you to visit our website at bellinghambusinessassociation.org. And in closing, I want to thank Leo Fantini and Steve Saraceno for being our guests today. Please check back in for the next edition of Strictly Business coming in November.